it's left. Over here you see the first image of the square, 1955 plus. The writing on the house. These are school kids who make the guard of order.
Oh my gracious me. This is...
Come out and make the Soviet crest of Belarus with hammer and sickle. Right on top there, two figures, 41 and 45, the years of the war. And things we don't do. That is off your record. So then, back on the official track. Mark their 5th anniversary around. For a while they kind of disallowed to shoot the building. They said focus on Lenin.
Okay. More than...
For Metro, 1984 building with a clock on top. That clock was spending money wisely when they put it. But completely faceless, spiritless building. This chap is no one in particular, more like a symbolic tribute to the architect's youth fountain theme.
What happened to all the fountains? There are no water.
Season.
Ah.
Can't have it. Yes. Friday to Monday, this place is rather active. Dynamo Stadium here has an echo to their ancient Roman architecture and the arches and the sports images. Maybe just similar to those from the ancient times.
The Colosseum.
Those were the architects who learned from the old school, and in the 60s it was trendy for the public buildings to be like that. Although in the 80s left quite popular among the kids, although they're trying.
Secos.
Half of the cars in front of us. Right, there's another Geely and there's a Cielos less Dongfeng thing on the
It's
right.
a very beautiful
helping to preserve the merchandise. Filter is allowed. It's a breakthrough.
Ah, okay. That's
Two,
good.
2 or 3 years back.
Good news.
We go up for a panoramic shot.
Oh my goodness. That is a lot.
Looks good.
Yeah, the theater looks good, looks grand.
Yeah, it was meant to be twice as big. Some accountants in Moscow chopped the project by half. They wanted to have rallies on stage and horses and all this stuff. We kind of made it massive locally. His name was Minsk-Arena. The main street was named after him for a while. The main street behind us over here. This ahead of us is being completed. As the company itself. Nice and hot. I'll park on the right and take a look at the left.
Yeah, there's another major landmark in the country.
Trump will have a coffee there the other day. We have been talking about this for a while.
Beautiful palace.
Ahead of us, the leftovers of a village that existed here, the cemetery, ahead and right, and the four-star hotel, which Soviet city. And by the way, Jesuits established the first university in the country. And that church is from the 1700s. It was a gym after the war. What's that? They're trying to kickstart the carriage?
Yeah.
Oh, this is big mountain of horse.
Oh my goodness, AMG Mercedes.
I thought you'd say that.
GT63 AMG. That's your high performance.
The red hat girl is an official tour guide. She has a badge and a rope, which I don't have. It's 21. The river over there, and we'll be seeing that area tomorrow. And that hotel, if you walk that far, floor 22 has the restaurant with the city views and the cranberry juice. They both come as an attraction.
You need a drink minimum for you to be there, to be seated.
Maybe we'll see about it tomorrow. We have plenty of time and plenty of spots to see tomorrow. So get some rest. The church is back in operation since the 1990s. Actually, Germans reopened it, and it was open kind of during the occupation for the services. That's how Germans tried to improve their PR. Didn't work very well for them. The island is man-made, artificial. It was filled in the late 80s. The Soviet war in Afghanistan was between 89 and 99.
Hello. Yippee! You see how easy it is just to mount and move. Well, well done. I wonder which equipment they used to do that. Yeah, because this is quite a high point going down. So yeah, it is, and the slope is quite intense. There is no sun today, unlike yesterday. Yeah, where did the sun go? This is afternoon time. You would be putting yourself at risk coming in the morning. London is another case.
The library was meant to be a ball. They removed the sides for the easier glass plating job. So it's figuratively called the diamond of knowledge. And this gentleman in the Middle Ages created the printing machine over here. So that made written knowledge more accessible by people on low budget. Handwritten books back then were quite expensive. We kind of made it massive locally. His name was Minsk-Arena. The main street was named after him for a while. The main street behind us over here. Let's take a facade shot. The lines are different quotations about the value of the written knowledge. Some 10 million books inside there. They're not just books, they may be items with information, be that flash drives or something. You can get some local songs, you can get some other things. They were man-made, they were just renewed just now. Took them a few $100,000 by the way. And they were the last Soviet architecture in the area with the tops that were actually gardens. Teacher says she'll call his father for bad behavior. It's very sweet. The tops were really green until the Soviet Union collapsed. They had some water supply, they had some bush, some little trees out there, so they were hanging roofs, hanging gardens. Green roofs, hanging gardens. But then in 91, everything kind of fell apart. Nobody cared anymore, and no longer a working concept for green roofs.
The mosaics.
We see it here, yes?
The mosaics are different.
Yeah, they are.
From each one building to another.
Yeah. In here they try to make the architecture a bit more diverse, not just plain 9-floor buildings. Some got higher, some got longer. So this way they're kind of more eye-pleasing than the standard Soviet architecture that we'll see on the way. And out here, back behind there, you'll see Dana Company cooking up some modern architecture. They're finished now. They are 30% more expensive than these fellows on the left. So being kind of modern, although their quality of construction may be a little bit more arguable than the Soviet grayish fellas behind us.
Dana
The
Center.
construction people just got unsanctioned by Trump. Just like our national air carrier Belarus. So maybe they'll get new tires to the airplane and fly your person back to St. Petersburg safely.
Dana, is it a locally owned or Indian? Serbian.
Serbian owned. And
Everybody keeps looking at my slides.
Oh, I like them too. I like them too. As long as they last through the holiday. Do you have more serious footwear or just these?
No, I do have,
Okay.
but I never wear them. I just bring them just in case I need them. Okay, I have worn them when I went to Mount
As insurance. Okay.
Mount Kinching. That's where you have to hike. So yeah, shoes much more safer.
Алло. Руслан, я с клиентом. Я так понимаю, что у вас на 1 минуту. I will drive her out by attraction and then we'll take a seat. Office ahead of us is being completed. As the company itself is now worth less than that toy maker from China, the Labubu guys. Which is kind of ironic in some way. Gazprom developers knocked down a pretty good bus station over here. It had some good way of absorbing traffic from out of town and diverting them straight to the metro system. Now everything goes and rolls right into the center, adding up to the pollution and noise, for which Minsk is not entirely cursed. We have very good environment, pretty good air, especially when Russians from industrial cities come over. They kinda complement our environment. Lady with a bag, babushka. The male version is dedushka, grandfather. You're familiar with these terms? Grandmother and grandfather in Russian?
Oh, sorry, I was mistaken papak for babushka.
No, it's not. Babushka. Westerners normally misspell it as babushka. It's babushka. A nice old lady with or without a headscarf. Little business center on the right, followed by a bunch of ex-military buildings. Lots of industrial buildings here were working for the benefit of the Red Army, which was based here, waiting for the final visit from our Western friends throughout the 1990s. And when the Soviet Union disintegrated, they left some gear behind as the Russian units left for Russia, and locals wrapped up the show. Underneath us there is metro. You might take a metro ride for fun if you like. On the right there are some 1970s houses. And on the left, national filmmakers, Belarus film.
Okay.
Sometimes in the background acting. Got to hunt the whole partisan team a few weeks ago as an SS guy. Grandpa would not have approved of it, I guess, but we'll keep it a secret. The main street goes right ahead for some 10 kilometers from here. It's one of the longest main streets in Europe.
Longer than the one in Romania.
Probably, yes. At least according to our book. Probably Romanian book says the other thing, the opposite thing, but I won't tell anyone.
Romania was quite notorious for building the biggest, the longest Ceausescu during his time.
One of the few old-time coaches out here in bunch of young people walking away from the university. 13, 18, that's probably their end of the tuition day for today.
Is the metro station in Minsk, is it as beautiful as the one
Not really.
in Moscow?
1980s, they were short of cash now, and the great mind behind the great construction site almost canceled the whole construction because the Olympics were approaching and they were short of money. So they just simplified a few things, but a couple of stations look pretty nice. Probably for my very few New York guests, any stations would look nice. As long as they're not in New York, which I'm told is a fairly horrible site. On the left, one of our largest parks, Chelyuskintsov Park. And ahead of us, a little dwelling block from the 60s, which was the edge of the city back at that time. One of my American clients is renting a flat over here. These were conceived as Red Army houses for generals and high-ranking officers. Kalinin Square, the last one, or the first one on our trip. The last one, if we count from Independence Square, our next stop. Side at the corner with more youths marching next to it is the Arts Academy for creative youngsters. Right side, the grey fence, it's a restoration of a factory. My grandfather worked there, it's a printing house. It existed in the pre-war city of Minsk. And on the left, a pretty grand building out here with those columns is one of the 5 big survivors of the war. Academy of Sciences. More youths walking on the right, that's the National Technical University. The fellas with hats are obviously the police students.
Police Academy.
Yes, not sure how they turn around National Technical University, but actually some strange uniforms and they may not be the police after all. The green buildings all belong to the National Technical University. It's a dormitory over here, which seems to be needing some plaster. And on the left, some ex-factory buildings, industrial buildings. And we're just a couple of bus stops away from Victory Square, where we'll take a quick walk, see the memorial itself, the Eternal Flame, Lee Harvey Oswald's house. Green uniform on the right, that would be a military cadet or a military student. This square here on the right side is named after one of our classical writers, a guy called Collis. He lived in the early 1900s-1950s. My house is right in his childhood area southwest by the castles. We might pass it by tomorrow. I moved from Vitebsk a few years ago, built a house outside in the forest for recreation. Gymnasium on the right, a high-end school. These days they no longer do exams to get kids from anywhere. If the building where you live belongs to that place, then send your kid to a gymnasium. If not, then it's just a normal school. Oh, president for a bonus. Now, what do I do by the bloody traffic rules? Stop like that and look nice. big shots in town, like I told you.
Mhm.
So I don't recognize that flag really, but it must be somewhere nice and hot. I'll park on the right and take a look at the leftovers of this official dome over here in Victory Square. Victory Square kind of marks the edge of the old town. Of course, depending on the illiteracy of the realtors, the old town stretches in Minsk quite badly occasionally. Border control cadets, it's very specific camouflage. And the cadet markers on the shoulders. A pretty typical Stalin era courtyard. Are you familiar with Stalin era architecture as a notion? Did you see any in Moscow? Some of those tall buildings?
Yeah, the Soviet style.
Not Soviet, but Stalin. They're all from the Soviet era, most of them. So, not really a thing. So, under Stalin, 30s, 40s, 50s, they built grand. They built really grand with arches, columns, a lot of plastering, and somewhat unnecessary decor to impress the public. And that lasted until 60s, when Khrushchev came to power and pronounced that all the Stalin ways are quite wrong. So he, as they say, buried. Stalin style and kick-started his own. Are you familiar with Khrushchev houses as a concept in architecture? Did you see any of those?
No, no idea. Even if I saw.
But you had a tour guide or not?
No.
Okay, interesting. That's one of the
No, it
uses-
was in Xi'an that I had a tour guide.
One of the uses to have a tour guide. Now Khrushchev came up with very unattractive but cheap, massive housing. And that's the full-time cops. No, that's cadet cops, that's baby cops over here taking some patrol practice, I guess. So they were 5 floors high. They looked like, well, they didn't look very attractive. And they built them massively as a temporary lodge for the post-war survivors. They were built massively. They were developed in entire areas. They didn't have lifts, garbage chutes, or anything like that, just to keep them cheaper. Kitchens were 6 meters large, even less than that. All to justify the, let's say, the efficiency of moves for the housewife, house lady. We'll hop off and take a quick walk over here. As you may judge from that car on our right, not all the residents of Minsk have $500 a month salaries. And this is one of the high-end residential blocks under construction now, with record high properties selling each quarter out there. Let's try and find a vacancy. It seems like the government is cutting expenses on street cleaning, so all the fallen leaves here you can discover in spring again. They seem to have somebody working on them, but not very actively, it seems. So how do we get ourselves parked? That little Mercedes stole some space. Let's block somebody. No.
Oh, it's blocked.